Okay, welcome everyone, and a good Chodesh. As we learn on this Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the Mishna Yomis dedicated Lili Nishma Shlomo ben Moshe Elimelech ben Eliezer Lufu Shalema Felio Moshe ben Chayesar for the schus of Avram ben Yom Benish ben Malkiudis and family, and dedicated by the Fisher family Lili Nishma Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi Pel Bas Ruvain by Yoel Klugman and family for their Parnasa B'Revach B'Kavod, and for Meir ben Chayesar should have a Refuah Shalema B'Seich Shar Chayla Yisrael. We are learning in the second parak of Nazir as we start with the fourth Mishnah. Hareini Nazir, if let's say Dr. Black says, I'll be a Nazir, Al Menashe, Shaisa Yain, he's a Chevraman. He says, I'll be a Nazir on the condition that I could drink wine and and contaminate to the dead. Well, guess what? Harizeh Nazir, he's a Nazir, and Asr B'Kulun, he's Asr to everything. Why? Because he's Masnal Masha Kosa B'Torah. When you stipulate against what it says in the Torah, to know about your condition is cancelled, and you remain with the commitment. So he has to be a Nazir, and he's forbidden to drink wine and contaminate to the dead. Now, what about if, in this case, Nachman says, Yoidea ani sheyesh Naziris. I know that there's Naziris. I knew that a Nazir has long hair. But I didn't know that a Nazir can't drink wine. I didn't know I can't have my Shabli. How is that Asr? The Tanna Kama says he's Asr because once he says he's a Nazir for everything. Reb Shimon says it's a neder b'tois. Since he didn't know that he would be forbidden with wine, it's a neder b'tois, and therefore he is permitted. Now, let's say Nachman says, I knew that a Nazir is also with wine. But I figured the Chacham would let me to drink wine. They know I can't live without my bottle. I was sure they would make an exception because I'm an Einus. I have to have wine. Or I would sure they would let me to contaminate the dead because I work as a Chevra Kadisha. So the Tanna Kama says, Taka, that's Nidre Onsim. Nidre Onsim is not a neder, as we learned in Masechtas Nadarim, and therefore Harizeh Mutter. Reb Shimon says, look, Nachman has grounds for a good heter by the Chachamim. He could go, and the Chacham would say, if you would have known that you couldn't drink wine, would you have made the neder? And he would say, of course not, I can't exist without wine. If you would know you won't be able to bury the dead, would you be, no, of course not, I can't exist without burying the dead, that's my parnasa. It would be a good heter, but until he goes to the Chacham, it's a binding Naziris. Now, in this case, Eddie says, Hareini Nazir, I'm going to be a Nazir, and Eddie is feeling particularly benevolent. Eddie says, I'll be a Nazir, and V'alai legaleach Nazir. And I also dedicate karbanos for another Nazir to shave at the end of his Naziris. I'll pay for his 3 karbanos, his chatas, his oila, and his shlamim. V'shama chavera, Aaron heard Eddie say this, V'amar v'ani, and he says, you know what, I'll also be a Nazir, and I like Eddie's benevolence, V'alai legaleach Nazir, I'll also pay for a set of karbanos for another Nazir. So imay pitkin, if they're intelligent, Migalchin zeh, Eddie will pay for Aaron's karbanos, and Aaron will pay for Eddie's karbanos. However, but if not, Migalchin Nazir Machem. They each do a Naziris with their own karbanos, and they pay for other people's karbanos because they each said that they're going to be a Nazir and also take care of somebody else's set of karbanos. We want to thank you very much for joining us and wish you a wonderful evening.